8:04 here on the Morning Rush for Crack. How you doing, man? Good morning.
I'm good.
You can adjust that.
I'm straight.
Good, man. You were we were talking a little bit off air. You said like you like your sounds big.
Yeah.
Is this like this is kind of early crack though?
Yeah, this early crack. This is like 13 crack.
Really?
Yeah.
But the sound's bigger now.
Oh,
More soulful.
Oh yeah, more pimping.
Well, thanks for getting up with us this morning. We appreciate it. Are you an early riser? How's your Sunday mornings?
Yeah, man, I'm early, man. I'm out here early. Sleep early, wake up early, you know.
I'm trying to do that.
Sleep early.
I'm trying to do the early thing, like go to sleep early so I can get up earlier. But
Yeah.
like I've been such a night owl my entire life, and I do things at night because like no one's up, so it's just easier to do things uninterrupted. But I'm realizing that's probably not the best move.
Waking up early is boss-like, man.
Well, with the sun, when summer hits, it's like 5 a.m, like the sun's already out. There's like that sort of new energy that just kickstarts your day that you can't get at 4 or 5 o'clock when you're punching out of the office.
Yeah,
it's like there's this like just starting your day is like, yo, I'm ready to go. Like I can go work out, do things.
Yeah,
but I'm still working into that. Well, thanks for joining us here on 88.7 FM WLUW. Been up here a few times on like the Radio 1 Chicago, the Hip Hop Project. But I wanted to get you up here to talk a lot more about yourself. First off, Gucci Mane just released his 100th mixtape album since 2005.
Nice.
I'm guessing that you're probably going to eclipse that by December of this year.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Have you counted like how many projects you put out since you started rapping? Almost a decade ago?
Yeah, no, I haven't, man. I really haven't.
You haven't counted?
No.
So you just put things out and you're like, all right, on to the next one?
Yeah, it'll make sense later.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it? Just not important, like the output, or just like the quality of songs? You're like, I just care that the music is out and that people have something until the next thing comes along.
Yeah, man, it's all about quality.
Yeah.
It's all about like putting out that real work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People just be putting stuff together real fast and put it out and be like, oh, it's not doing anything for me. You ain't work hard enough.
But there's a sense that with the, I want to say recent success, but like you've been getting a lot of great write-up in Billboard and Pitchfork, two great articles that came out like early this year and late last year.
Yeah. And
there's like this perception that you work really hard at these projects, even though it seems like they're coming out like in these waves and waves, but there's considerable time that's being placed into each of these projects. So even though they're coming out, like seems like every month or every 2 months, you're spending months and months and maybe years of working on each of these tracks.
Yeah, it's just I got that much work to, it's like a round table. I'm just around, I'm doing everything all at one time.
Yeah, and now you're self-producing yourself as well.
Yeah.
What has that done for you as an artist to now have full control over the music that you're producing yourself or creating for you yourself as a lyricist and an artist to get on top of? Like, how has that either enhanced your output, or just how does that how uplifted you as an artist?
It just allows me to just do whatever I want to do. I mean, we've been doing whatever we want to do.
Right.
It just allows me even more to just do whatever, just anything.
More freedom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it because you and Cutter, who was your high school classmate and one of your frequent collaborators?
Well, I ain't know him in high school like that, but yeah, we went to the
You guys might not have been in the same circle, but you're like sort of in the same proximity. But having like someone like sort of like steering you, but now you're steering and driving yourself. Like, what are you looking for when you start, like, because you use a lot of like dusty soul records. Like, what kind of records are you looking for? What stands out to you that makes you go like, okay, I can use this and build a song around it?
I just be hearing things, man. I don't really listen to rap like that, so I'm always subconsciously digging for samples anyway.
Yeah, is that a good or bad thing that you're not kind of like following fads or not knowing what's out there? Because you're probably on your social media and someone's like quoting something that's popular, and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, that's the thing. I hear everything. I just don't listen to everything. So you know what I mean? Because I gotta know what's going on in rap.
You gotta stay in the loop a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't listen to rap.
Yeah, I mean, you're not like digesting 10 albums a week.
No. I'm checking them out. I'm seeing who's who. I'm seeing what's hot. Seeing which of my homies drop some albums or whatever.
Yeah.
Checking out, the Megans and Megan's my homie.
Mm-hmm.
Checking out the everything that's going on, but I'm not really listening to it. I'm just making sure I'm up to date on it.
Yeah, because I mean you could fall behind really fast.
Real fast. That's my like when I get up early in the morning, that's the first thing I'm doing, checking out who dropped, what's hot, what samples I was thinking about last night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What beat somebody just sent me. That's my whole morning. That's my breakfast.
I was reading in I think it was the Pitchfork piece where you spend like a week listening to like foreign sounds like Japanese soul or like I tried doing that because like Apple has these playlists, like 100 songs playing in Japan and
they do?
Yeah.
You just put me on.
They were like the top songs playing in America, top songs playing in Canada. And so I was like, I just like pressed play. I was like, well, let's see what's going on. And of course, but it was like this soulful record, but it was in Japanese, so I have no idea what they're saying. But I'm like, oh man, I was like, they're adapting a lot of what we're doing and putting it on over their vocals. I was like, that's like game changer.
Yeah, they've been doing that since the 70s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, American culture is everywhere. We influence the whole world.
Yeah.
Hip hop influences the whole world.
Is there anything like in those records, whether or not you understand the language, but like you're able to like, okay, this is cool, I can sample this, or
Yeah, well, music's universal, so
Yeah.
it's like you don't understand what they're saying, but you can feel it.
Right.
You know what they was on.
Yeah, like if the pitch increases, falsetto, like any sort of like production element that they're adding, you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like they're obviously engaged in this somehow. I just don't know what they're doing or what they're saying.
No, I like sampling music that's not in English more than sampling music that's in English.
Just because of the question marks and
when you like stretch it or minimize it or play with the beat in any kind of way, it's like it doesn't matter that you don't know what they're saying. When it's in English, they might be saying something and then you mess up what they're saying by manipulating the beat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like deconstructing it.
Yeah.
You've sort of mastered the art of simplifying the records to where like it's a minute and a half. You get everything you need to get off in that time period, and then you bounce to the next record.
Get it off, man. we can't be doing it all night, man. Let's just get it off and go to sleep.
So I've noticed that this is happening a lot because this is, I don't know if it's a trend or just the strategic plan by newer millennial artists to shorten the songs. One, because our listenership has a ADA component, about an ADHD component where people can't listen to anything longer than 3-4 minutes.
Man.
And so shorten it down to 2 minutes. People could listen to an entire album in 19 minutes, a full setting. But then also that raises the probability that people are going to go back and listen to your record again, which then boosts your stream numbers.
That's the key. It's like if you hear a dope song, it's only a minute long. What's the first thing you do?
You're going to go back and click on it again.
It's the first thing you do.
I kind of feel like, so I was reviewing the Lil Nas X 7 EP on Vocalo Friday morning, and the Panini song, which I love the production on there, but then I'm like, it's 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes flat. And I'm like, I want to hear more.
Yeah.
Like, see what else you could have done with this beat. But then again, you kind of just going back and listen to it again. The great and bad part, one, is that I'm listening it so much I can break down what you're doing. Where if it's a 4-minute song, any hiccups I'm probably not going to catch because I'm only listening to it once. And I'm like, okay, it's great. But then if I'm listening to it more and more, I can see where like some of the shortfalls are. Is that upside or downside for reducing the song limit?
I mean, it's a whatever side, because it's like I could take a 10-minute song and listen to it 100 times and pick out of it. I could take a 30-second song. So yeah, it's just music is music. It's just, if you messing up in the music, then that's on you.
Shouldn't have put it out.
Right.
We're talking with Chris Crack here on 88.7 FM WLUW's The Morning Rush. I'm Weekend Gabe, holding down your Sunday morning. Let's talk about like your where you grew up on the west side of Chicago. And then you went to Taft High School?
For a
little while?
Then I went to Oak Park River Forest.
OP?
Yeah. Oh, had all the chicks. Yeah.
That's it's like right like a small suburb that's right outside of Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're like right next door.
Yeah. And then your mother was like a math teacher for 30 years, a dean of students.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been around education a lot of your life.
Yeah, man.
Like academic scholars.
My mom used to make us stay in the crib in the summertime and do math problems. And, man,
Okay, is your mom still teaching? Because I need her to work with my son this summer. Like,
no, but she do be tutoring though, for real. Yeah, she be tutoring math because she has this thing like they're dumbing down the math in school.
Yeah.
And they are like they're taking.
Well, the Common Core.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's dumbing down, but go ahead.
Well, my son he was going to an Oak Park school. They got it on the schools or whatever. And
Yeah.
she noticed it in their curriculum, and she was like, "Well, I know if they doing it in this curriculum, they doing it in the city for sure.
Yeah.
And they doing it probably everywhere else.
It's a statewide initiative.
Yeah. So she has this thing like I'm teaching math till I die. Like, I'm gonna show you how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, I'm gonna show you.
Right. I've convinced myself that there's Common Core is going to be the destruction of so many families, because we got to the point where like we were just like yelling at each other about the right answer, and we're both wrong. We have to like Google the answer. It's to that point where we have to like Google to find out how the answer is, and then how they got to the answer, and then we find out that both him and my son are wrong.
Yeah.
Like, we're like we both don't know what we're doing. But I'm kind of upset at him. I'm like, you were in the class today, did you take notes? He's like, no. Like he's like, I just watched him do it, and I was like, that doesn't help.
No, it's like that joke when they say the parent helped the kid with the homework, and then he brought it back to school and the homework was all wrong.
Like my parents helped me do it. Like, don't let your parents touch your homework anymore. So the great part about the I think the pitchfork piece was that when you started hustling, you learned the number of grams that were in an ounce based from a question that you asked your mom.
Yeah.
And you were heated. You were tight.
What you asking that for? And I'm like, no, Mom, we doing this math for them, and I need to know how many grams are in an ounce, and how many. I was like, how many ounces are in a pound? Okay, cool. She's like, I don't know why you want to know that, but that's weird.
Like, why?
Yeah, because they were selling 22-gram ounces, bro. And I was like, but I feel like it wasn't their fault because everybody was doing it. So
no one actually checked it.
No one knew.
Yeah.
See, you didn't know the homework. Nobody knew. So I had to go out. I was schooling guys on the block like, an ounce is 28 grams, right? You know that, right? And then, what? I got 22. I got 24. It's like, no, it's 28. Bro.
So someone's skimming off the top.
This is before Google. No, I've seen kids Google how many grams on an ounce, like just all day, every day.
Make sure they're not short. That's wild. So what happens? So first off, like when your mom found out about that story, what was her response? Like,
we never really talked about it because those two articles, the Pitchfork article and the Billboard article, I kept away from her because there's a lot of things in there that I was self-incriminating, things that she never knew about still to this day, but she knew about them because she told me like last week. She was like, "Yeah, I read your articles," and I said, "Oh, you did?" And she said, "Yeah, I saw your playlist for Billboard," and I was like, "Oh yeah," so that means she been reading them.
She went down the rabbit hole on the internet. Yeah,
no, she definitely did. So I was like, oh, yeah.
She's like, "Oh yeah, when next time you come over, we got some things to talk about."
Yeah,
that's funny though. So you go to high school, you almost get kicked out.
No, I got kicked out.
You did?
I got kicked out.
Even though your teachers vouched for you.
Well, they let me graduate because it was first half of senior year. Yeah. And I was already, my freshman year I killed on the grades, and then sophomore I didn't do real well, but I went to summer school. Yeah. And then junior year is when I started getting on BS. Yeah. But I still killed on the grades though. And then senior year I was like, man, I ain't doing nothing. nothing.
Just checked out.
Yeah, so but I was cool with all my teachers. So
Yeah.
when they kicked me out, my mom, you know, went up there on her BS and was like, "Yo, y'all gonna let him graduate?" You know.
I like that.
So they said, "I tell you what, if his teachers agree to let him take their final, then he can take the final off campus." You know
They didn't want you anywhere
no,
near.
they never let me back on that campus, and they were like, he can graduate.
Yeah.
So I just had to take the finals for each class, and it was crazy because all my teachers, my English teacher, she gave me a 1-question final,
Really?
and it was like I don't even remember. It was so easy. It was like I had to write a paragraph or something like that. It was like, and then my gym teacher gave me a what did he do? He made me dress up as like because when we had a swim class, and my class was first period. I had swim in first period.
Yeah, I had that stupid class too. Yeah.
So he made me dress up like a swimmer or something like that, and like go to a pool and pose or something. And that was my final. You know what I mean? It was they was all cool. They all just let me just rock. It was like, nah, bro, go on and graduate.
Yeah, like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I did get caught trapping though. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of bad. You know, that could upset some people, especially in Oak Park. You know,
yeah.
you know.
Man, they was trying to hang me. They wanted me to go to jail and everything. It was like, bro, I got caught in school with some weed.
I was like, the kids obviously wanted it.
Yeah, right. Man.
We're talking with Chris Crack here on 88.7 FM's The Morning Rush with Weekend Gabe. Don't forget to follow us on the social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Morning Rush Shot, at WLUW. What made you want to get into hustling? Which is interesting because your music is just so eclectic around, like, obviously you have a I don't want to call you a womanizer, but you have an affection for the women and for the ladies. And I love your it was like I read that you described your music as big women and barbecue.
Yeah, it was a barbecue sauce. Yes, sir.
So you were doing so well, sort of on the being this sort of star of the show, but then you decided to go into do hustling. Like, what was the the decision to go that route?
Like I don't come from like being broke and never had nothing type thing. So like I pretty much had what I wanted, but it's like we were talking before. It was like my mom couldn't buy me every single pair of Jordans that came out. She couldn't buy me all the starter clothes and all the Pellies and all this. So it's like I want them. So I gotta get that. So it was already a thing of like everybody would always come ask me where the drugs are. Everybody would always come ask me where the drugs, or if they wanted to get liquor, they knew that I knew all the crackheads that'll go buy the liquor. So they like, man, we need some liquor. Can you hook us up?
So you're the plug, like you knew everything.
The plug. So I was like, man, I might as well just start selling a little bit of weed on the side.
Stop pointing them in the direction and just like,
and just be like, I got it. And then it just spiraled, because like when you're in school, if a kid tells another kid something, 30 kids know.
Yeah, forget about it.
600 kids know.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, he the man with the tree. Boom. I was the man with the tree for like 15 years. You know what I'm saying? I just got off that because music started paying me. So I was like, no self-incrimination. It's all for entertainment.
But I think there's an honesty behind that, because it's like it's a real thing that artists your age, that's kind of like their start, is that there's always that motivation to keep up with fashion, with trends, and then wanting to be, want to have the finer things, and coming from a household that may not even be a broken home, but just be like, my circumstance doesn't allow me to present myself the way I want to be presented. So I got to go find out how to do it elsewhere.
Yeah, man. My mom, she was always working, so we was at the crib by ourselves a lot of the time. And my dad, he was around, but not for real. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Sometimes we was just doing it because we was bored.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just doing bad stuff because you're bored.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it turns into being something that you either have to do or that you are addicted to doing.
Was there any point during that whole experience that could have led you into a different direction, or something could have happened, like either obviously the two options are jail or death. Like, did any of those kind of like forecast themselves? You're like, this is like probably something I shouldn't be doing long term.
Yeah, man. In high school, actually, I ain't gonna say his name because he might be mad. But in high school, my two homies got locked up for robbing these dudes. The one dude he's the great nephew of somebody very famous. I'll tell you off.
All right, that sounds good.
We were supposed to rob these dudes on Friday. We've been planning this since Monday. We were supposed to rob these dudes.
This sounds like the scene in Juice, by the way. But go ahead.
And just so happened that I did something Thursday night or something, Wednesday night, one of them, and I got on punishment. Got put on punishment. We supposed to use my mom's van to hit this lick, right?
Wow.
So we couldn't hit the lick. These two dudes got thirsty and they tried to go hit the lick with some lame dude we grew up with. He wound up telling on them, and them dudes one of them he was 17, so he went to the joint, all that. He did like 3 years for that. The other one, he was 16. He went to he went to the Audi home, all that. And man, both them dudes' lives are like ruined behind it.
And that could have
been me. And there was another time my mom saved my life like that too. I had stole this firearm from my stepfather, and we was about to go hit a lick, and I was staying in this hotel at the time, and we was about to go hit a lick. My mom called me like, hey, don't go nowhere. There's an emergency. Don't go anywhere. Like, she didn't even let me know she was coming. She just was like, don't leave, don't do nothing, don't do nothing. She pulls up at the hotel, hops out. Like, what is you doing? You know what I'm saying? I know you got that. Give it to me right now. Give it to me. I know you got it. I'm like, man, what you talking about?
Yeah,
I got all my homies in there. We in there. You know what I'm saying? We in there like belly, and then she pull up, and I'm like a little kid, like, no, mom, what are you talking about? And she was like, give it here. I know you got it. I know you got it. I don't want to see you, go down. And I'm like, man, give her the gun. Yeah. And it was like, that was another time because them dudes got thirsty, went and tried to hit the lick. One of them got killed, actually.
Yeah. And
the other one got shot in the head, and he's paralyzed. And the other one had went to the joint for like 2 years or something.
Right.
Something like that. So yeah. There have been two instances where like at the very least I would have went to jail. You know what I'm saying? At the very least.
Yeah. We're talking with Chris Crack here on 88.7 FM, WLUW, The Morning Rush on Weekend Gabe. Don't forget to follow us on WLUW.org and at WLUW. When does the music start to become part of your life? Like we mentioned, you and Cutter, like that was kind of like, that was like your jump off, right? Like he kind of roped you into the music side of things.
Yeah, like back, like right after high school, like you know how people would freestyle all the time.
Yeah.
My one homie was like, my friend Paul, he got a studio. And I was like, what? We had never been in no studio.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it was huge. Like, he was like, yeah, man, let's get in there. You know what I'm saying? We went over there. And you think you just gonna go in there and just, man, it took me at least 10 to 20 times just to even get to where your voice is projected directly into the mic, you know what I mean? Then you gotta figure your voice out. Then you gotta figure your personality out. Then you gotta figure, this takes years.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? With these new artists, they don't get that. They just think they go in and, this rap ain't for me, man. It ain't work. It's like, yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, you gotta work on it. Like it's something you have to do. You're gonna be bad at it in the beginning. Like anything you do at the beginning, you're gonna be awful at it.
Yeah. Our first music was terrible. Don't ever. I'm glad it's not like on the internet. You can't even find my music from like 2011 on the internet, which I'm glad.
You should be happy about that.
I'm very happy.
So I also read that you were a huge fan of Missy Elliott. You used to quote her rhymes, and then use it as your own. And then till you got found out, and then you sort of went into hiding a little bit. But like, was that? But it's fine. It's I think once art like for example, Outkast is Aquemini, they have the entire lyric book and some part of their artwork inside the CD. And I'd go on like the AOL Messenger thread chat rooms and just like write off stuff like I thought was like
Yeah,
because the album just came out, no one knew.
Yeah.
And like I said, at that time, like Google wasn't around where you could just like Google something, and they'd be like, "Yo, that's fire!" Like, yeah, I know. But did that like help? Like, did her style help motivate you to like create your own?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like her, remember when she came out, and her and Timbaland, like they were like, what?
Oh yeah, transcendent.
Yeah, like Timbaland's using animal sounds and he's
using the frog burp.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He's just using any sound he can make. Like he might use you stomping on the floor. That's a sound, you know, and the beat. And that showed me like man, you can do whatever you want to do. This is your music. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. We do that all the time. Like if we hear if we accidentally record something, and we play it back and it's dope, we might make a whole beat out of it. We might use it in a song. We might use it as a skit. We might show music.
Yeah, exactly. Does that make you like? Because when people think of like Chicago music, there's like so many different, I would say, sounds that people think of. Obviously the drill, obviously the soul, chopping up soul records that, you know, that became very popular and part of the Chicago hip hop scene. But like you as an artist, like you seem to like able to like adapt to anything and make it your own.
Yeah.
Is that a survival technique, or is that just because you've built yourself able to jump on anything and make it your own?
Man, that's just me, man. I've always been a loner, so I just know how to go in a room and finesse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like jumping on other people's stuff and making it mine. You know what I mean? And I like taking somebody else and taking their thing and putting it on mine and making it kind of theirs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I like to take people out their comfort zone.
Has there been like you brought people into your session and they're like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
This isn't like my vibe.
No, it's literally every single. I don't think there's not one person that hasn't said that. That was like when we get done doing it, they're like, man, I would have never rapped on that, or I would have never done that over that beat, or I would have. That's what I need. That's what I need to hear. You know what I mean?
Is it rewarding when you're able to sort of what is it, like put a square peg through a circular hole? Like you're able to figure it out and get people to come over who wouldn't have otherwise tried it?
Yeah, because it always makes them feel better about themselves. They're like, man, I would have never done that. I would have never. You put me on this. You showed me how to rap on this beat. You know, you showed me how to ride the beat this way or whatever. Yeah. People do that with me all the time. I learn from everybody that come through. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I learn from everybody.
What is the goal or the focus whenever you start an album or start a record? Do you kind of have in mind like what you want to do and what you want to achieve in that 30, 40, 20-minute space?
No, I have no clue.
So you just go and just however the music speaks to you, that's how it's going to come out.
Yeah, because when you playing and it just comes out corny, man. Yeah. It's just when you I don't even like to write unless I'm in the studio a lot of the time, because it's too overthought. When you overthink it, it's just like it's like just do it right there, right here, right now, flex it. That's why I forget all my music.
I was about to say, you have so many records. Like how is it impossible to remember
It's absolutely impossible. Absolutely impossible. If you ask me to do like other than the songs that I have memorized that I have to do shows for, if you asked me, if you even played the song, I would have no clue what the lyrics were. None.
So whenever you're doing a show, like someone like shouts out a song, you're like you probably could perform it better than me.
Yeah, if it's a song that I don't know, then I'm just like,
I was like, did I make that?
It's like, if I prepare for it, I don't just know the song off top. No. Yeah. How could I?
Yeah, it's like you're probably 200-300 songs in.
Man. Who knows, man? I've actually never
like
known.
Tallied up all the songs that you've made.
I wanna. You got me. That's like the second time you said that. Now I'm like, man, I'm gonna go see.
I think it's like you've been doing this for a while. It's almost like it feels like a ball player who's like, yo, what are my numbers looking like? Like, what am I stacking up? Like, how am I just to see. Sometimes I just want to see, like, sometimes I've done so many interviews that I don't know what the number is.
Yeah.
But then I'll look online and some of them are like floating around from 10 years ago, and it's like I don't know what the number is.
Yeah.
It could be 500 interviews in 10 years. I don't know.
I don't want to be real. I don't want to know. I mean, as long as I'm killing it, then I don't have to know, right?
Yeah, it doesn't like dwell on me as long as people like give good feedback, and then like that's all that matters.
All right.
It's like people got information out of it. We're talking with Chris Crack here on WLUW's 834 on this gloomy Sunday morning, but it is shining here in the studio with Chris Crack here on 88.7 FM WLUW. New Deal Crew, NDC. Like, first off, the first time I saw you was at it was at the Ghetto Boy show. You guys opened, if I'm right?
Yes, sir.
And then it was like you and Vic were on stage, and I think you did white man music, and that's the first time, and I was like, okay, this is dope, and I had the Wu-Tang shirt on, and then you're like, does New Deal Crew, like, does New Deal Crew love you or something?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Am I saying it right?
New Deal Crew loves you.
Yeah, and it was like I think the chant was like, "We love you back," and I said it, and then like the guy in the Wu-Tang shirt, "We love you."
Nice.
And then like you and Vic came over because I was familiar with him, and then he's like, "Oh, it'd be Chris," and I was like, "Oh, dope," you know. So I've always been like a huge fan of yours since that moment. But then New Deal Crew, like, so what is that? How many are you? Is just you? Like, what is the makeup of that?
New Deal Crew is like, it's more like a I don't know, it's like a unicorn, man. You know what I'm saying? You never see it, but you know what it's about.
Yeah.
But you just never really see. I mean, like for real, like New Deal Crew is me, Sky High, and Cutter, really. But I mean, but there's so many more people too.
Yeah.
That I couldn't name them all. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I just keep it. Ugly Boy Modeling for sure. You know, Nate Barksdale. You know what I'm saying? I would just have to keep just going and going and going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, New Deal Crew is just it doesn't have to be like a set amount of people or whatever, you know. You New Deal Crew. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. Well, whenever I can get a shirt, I appreciate it. I've been waiting for like 6 years.
Yeah, man. No, we just put a merch order in because it became overwhelming. Too many people asking about it.
You should definitely take advantage of that. You should definitely keep stock full, you know.
Yeah. I'm on it.
New Deal Crew loves you.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I got to ask you about some of the album titles that you've recently put out. Obviously, your output in the last, let's count them, I don't know, there's like too many. I don't even think Apple Music has all your releases. But it's like probably 10 albums.
It was
mixtapes.
11 albums in 12 months.
11 albums. So every month you're putting out something.
Yeah, basically.
One of them was Crackheads Live Longer Than Vegans. Is that true?
True. And it's a play on Chris Crack fans or crackheads. So it's like, if you listen to Chris Crack's music, you'll live forever.
Got it. And the question is, are black people racist?
We can't be.
And then I can't say it here, but Bees Don't Deserve Me.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man. That's how I was feeling, and that's how I'm feeling a lot of the time. I ain't gonna lie, but you know.
I think there was one where I mentioned it to my wife last night, and she just died laughing. There's just Big D Energy.
Oh yeah.
Gold Mink.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Buckets Are for Mops. Mayhem Shorties Made History.
Yeah.
Where do you come up with these titles?
It's like the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear the beat. Well, hear the finished song. The first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah. And then you just go with it. Do you have the title song before you do the song?
No, the song before I name it is just Beat 25 or, you know, Rainy Days or something like, you know, whatever the producer named it.
F your followers.
Yeah. All of these are like the feeling that I had when when the song is done and, you know, you feel like you feeling kind of triumphant, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's fun though.
And it definitely keeps people guessing. Like, I've gotten a whole lot of people that said, man, I only quit just because of that.
Because it's
And it was dope, you know. It's like it's dope, but I wouldn't have. If this would have been called "Money on the Floor" or something, I wouldn't.
Talk about how did you meet Tree, Vic Spencer? Those are like two of your biggest collaborators. You have EPs, you have albums with both of them. How did that fall into place?
Just being Project Mayhem. I met them dudes back in like 2010 through illegal dealings.
Okay, got it. Read between the lines there, folks.
And they introduced me to some player people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Vic, obviously, you guys are Chris Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got a couple albums out together.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Because it seems like Vic is a very like street orientated rapper, but he has a lot of finesse in his delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're kind of like a Jimi Hendrix kind of hip hop artist. You don't know what you're gonna get, either personality, style, delivery. Again, you can adapt to just about anything. How is it that you guys are able to coexist together?
Because it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people have just said that it's just like water and fire, you know. It's two different things that aren't the same at all, but they fit together.
Right. Does that, like, what is it like when you guys decide to, you know, put the bad signal out there, like, all right, it's album time again?
Like what do you mean, like?
When it's time to come together, and like, all right, we're gonna do this project.
Oh, like how do we decide that?
Yeah, like
we don't. We just I don't plan anything, man. I just do it.
Is it just like, oh, we got like 8 songs together, we should probably do another 2 and put this album out?
Yeah, or it's just like we're not gonna plan anything. We just look up and got 30 songs.
Yeah.
And somebody else was like, y'all need to put an album out.
I just like the sort of the improvisation part of the way you collaborate and the way that you just decide when the things come out. Like you were kind of like the piece in, I think, Billboard or Pitchfork was that, you know, you're weary about signing or getting into a label situation because you might not have the freedom to put out the records when you yourself want to put out. And they kind of mentioned that with Earl Sweatshirt, with Columbia, he kind of ran into that situation.
He tried to take my idea.
I was about to say, like, you put out like a 36-minute album, 1-tracker, and that's what he wanted to do, and they were like, that might limit our streaming output, so they nixed that idea.
No, he admitted it, that he tried to do what I did.
He saw what you did,
Yeah.
and he was like, yo, that's a great idea.
That's dope, man. He's cool people, man. I F with Earl. Yeah.
But is that kind of do you feel like if you, I don't want to say like the next level or whatever that may look like, but definitely having sort of that distribution behind you to get into more markets, but then what is the risk of what freedom are you giving up to get to that plateau, and are you willing to do that? And
I mean, I don't really want to be like a superstar or nothing like that. I just need some money, man.
Well, you could do that by being a superstar.
But I don't want to be a superstar because it's just too much stuff that comes with that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I like to go out and people don't know me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be somewhere and everybody knows me and then I can't even go outside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z, he can't even go outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He can't even step out on his front step and like smoke a, you know, whatever he smoked. I don't even think he smoked, but you know what I'm saying? He can't even step outside and just get some fresh air. Somebody gonna spot him. Hey, that's Jay. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's gonna be. So yeah, I couldn't ever live like that.
So that's not a motivating factor when it comes into the music.
To be, I mean, I've always been the dude that was in the cut in the back, just counting bread. You know, so I don't want to be the guy in the front. You know, I gotta be the face and everything. Like when we started this New Deal Crew thing, I was in the back. I only came to the front because no one else was in the front. So they like, you gotta be in the front.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I like to be in the cut, man. I don't want nobody to know me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you received offers to sign on or do anything additional? That's the smirk of like maybe not.
Yeah, man. We signed a little deal or whatever, you know. Nah, I'll tell you about it. But yeah, we signed a little something.
Okay, cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It's not gonna hinder my creativity, so it's cool. It's gonna stop me from putting out music for about 3 months, but
That's not bad.
that's not bad because I need to chill anyway. So.
You already got 4 out this year, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think that's
It's about to be 5 when my birthday comes.
So wait, the 3-month hiatus begins when the new album drops or the new project drops.
We owe them an album, so the year starts when I drop that album for them.
Yeah.
So the 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool anyway because they gonna it's gonna be bread. They gonna be paying me and all that. Yeah, it's cool. And I need to, like I said, I need to chill anyway. Let people catch up.
Exactly. I kind of lost track of like how much like music you had out in the last year.
Yeah.
Because I would like hear like, oh, Chris Crack dropped a new album. And I was like, okay, like didn't he just put an album out?
Yeah.
But then you just tell yourself like, oh, okay, like I don't have time for it right now, but I'll get to it, and then next thing you know, you're like 3 hours behind.
Yeah.
But the beautiful part about it is like you said, 30 minutes. They're easy to really digest and get through, and so you can get all of them in one listen. Almost.
Exactly, and they're funny. You know what I'm saying? If you want to laugh, I got some stuff for you to laugh to, some stuff for you to cry to, and you know I'm coming with the hard bars, and I'm coming with the R&B. You know.
Yes.
You know what I'm
saying? Do you aim for an audience or like a demographic? Do you give it any thought about that? You're like, yo, if I'm doing like soul records, like this, I know that people who are like 25 and up are gonna rock with this. If I do something a little bit more boomerier or like a heavier sound, I know like younger audience might rock with this because they like the lyrics and they like the content. Like, do you ever give that any real intentional thought?
No, I've never thought of that. Like because it's like if the second I start doing that, the second I start losing. I just put it out and like I'm gonna make you like what I'm doing. Right. I might do a polka album next. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make you like it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, man, he flipped that polka kind of crazy though. You know what I mean? You gotta make people like it. You can't make stuff that you think they gonna like. You gotta make stuff that you like. And make them like it.
I think that's what like sometimes younger artists are like, I gotta do what people are doing that's already successful because that's what people like.
That's where you get these copycats from.
Yeah, and that's what messes up the game. And then like people are like stuff, you're like, I'm just making music because I like it, and if people don't like it, then I'm still gonna be making it.
Exactly.
And I think that's the attitude that they should be having. But oftentimes I think that gets lost in translation with the idea of what successful is. Have you spoken with anyone like in your crew or on your team about like sort of that idea of like just make music that you like, and then however the chips fall, that's what your fate is going to be?
Yeah, that's what New Deal Crew is. Just making. I mean, have you ever heard Ugly Boy Marlin's music? That's nowhere near what people think they. But then when you hear it, you whenever I hear Ugly, especially when we in the studio together, like he's always doing something that you're like, what is it? Like, huh? And then like that's why he's recording it because you can't hear the beat. You're just like, what? I don't know if that's gonna be. And then you play it out loud and put the beat on, finesse it a little bit, do a couple little mixing, and you just like,
oh,
what? I see. Yeah, that's every single time though. Every time you just be like, this might be the one that don't work right here, and then he comes off and you're like, nah, that definitely worked. Yeah.
You've recorded obviously here in Chicago. You've done work in LA. We've seen it. I want to get into the Madlib question in a moment, but what is it like? Is there a different energy about being and recording in different spaces?
Oh yeah.
Talk about that. Like, what is like? What do you feel that's different? And like the output is different.
When I'm here, my music is more sad. It's more. I've noticed this because being outside looking in. When I'm here, it's more sad. It's more gloomy. It's more serious. It's more to the point. And when I'm in like a more tropical space, it's more laid back, more player, more like wavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think either one is better or worse.
Yeah.
I think it's just about where I'm at the time.
Yeah.
When I was out at LA, that was like songwriting boot camp. Like I learned so many things about songwriting. It's like now we go in the studio and we'll write 6 or 7 songs in one sitting. You know what I'm saying? And lay them and rock them and get off them. And then come back like a week later and be like, yo, let's go check out what we did. And not only do we have no clue, we don't remember anything about it, but it's like, damn, we did that? You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, now we get to build off this. It's almost like opening up a gift.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like, man, I be getting so much. Like these last, 3 albums, basically, were all from the songwriting boot camp.
Nice.
Yeah.
Madlib, he tweeted out that like he's gonna work with you, or there's a possibility of being working with you. Is that what can you reveal about that?
I can only say that it's going down. That's all I can say. It's going down.
Did you guys have a relationship before that tweet? Like, did you?
Nah.
Was that so? It was surprising to you as we all were excited.
Yeah. What's crazy is I didn't grow up on that type of, I didn't grow up on rap music. I grew up on R&B.
Yeah.
So all this rap, like Wu-Tang and like Madlib and like I'm just naming like real hip hop based stuff. Like I didn't learn about that stuff until like 2009, 2011, 2012. I had a girlfriend at the time. She was super into that. So she would put me on, and I remember the first time hearing Madlib, I'll never forget it. I was like, I don't know what this is, but this is like the coldest thing I've ever heard. And she was like, so she put me on like J-Lib and like Quasi and all that, and I was just blown away. And from that time on, I was like, man, I want to work with this dude, but I just knew in my mind, I'm like, this ain't no possibility, it's not ever gonna happen, but I want to still, see what's to it. Nice.
All right, before I let you go, Father's Day was last Sunday, so happy Father's Day to you.
Yes, sir. Happy Father's Day to you.
You appreciate that. What is the best part about fatherhood? What was the biggest challenge so far about fatherhood?
I don't know. It ain't over yet. So
it's never over.
I don't know. I like teaching a little person something that they will use for the rest of their life.
That's a great
point.
What
I mean? And then it's your little person. So, and then the part that gets on my nerves is like kids just don't shut up. But it's like they gotta get it out now, or else they'll be one of them adults who are annoying as hell.
Yeah.
So it's like, let them get it out right now.
I like the questions though. I think it's funny. It's because it gauges like their interest, but then sometimes they'll say some really crazy stuff that I'm like, I haven't really thought about that. Like I don't have an answer for you about that.
No, it's not the questions so much. It's just like
the talk.
Just like the talk, or like when they're playing the video game or whatever, and they talking all day. But it's like you can't get mad at that because you were doing that. You know
right.
And I know I was up in my room cussing, yelling at the video game. My mom would be like, Chris, stop all that. You know what I mean? So I know what it is. But it's still gonna get on your nerves though.
Yeah. What are some similarities that you see in your son that you see in yourself?
Man, everybody tells me. Of course, I don't see it because the parent doesn't know the real you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everyone else tells me that he's exactly like me.
Yeah.
Like they be like, he's a fool like you.
Like thanks.
He always makes. He can't control his facial expression a lot of the time. I can't control my facial expression.
Yeah.
So that gets me into a lot of things with people because they're like, you made this face at me and I didn't. I'm like, when?
Yeah.
But it's like I probably did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
That's good.
He's apparently just like me.
Did you get like a tie for Father's Day or something?
No, I just got cards and
cards
and money and
cards.
And a personal chef.
They're still giving you money for Father's Day.
Yeah, man. They usually give me polo on Father's Day.
Oh, there you go.
this year, like I'm too lazy to go to the mansion. So
I'm always like confused when like grown people give you money for like gifts. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Well, like if you got it sitting around, you know,
Yeah.
if you want to give it to me, that's cool. But before I let you go, like, so you got you got new projects out. We're gonna get another one on your birthday. That's this summer.
I'm guessing. I might put it out on my birthday.
All right, that'd be good. You're gonna put out your birthday. What's the plan for summer? Are you gonna you gonna be doing any shows in the city? You gonna go on tour? What's the plan?
Well, people keep asking about the tour that I was supposed to be going on, and I was supposed to be going on this tour or whatever, West Coast tour, and the reason the tour got postponed was because we were supposed to be doing this Euro tour, right?
Yeah.
But then the Euro, well, not but the Euro tour is being finessed right now. So it's like I'm probably gonna do both of them, but I don't know which one or both or what or when, how. So you know what I'm saying? It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. But be on the lookout for Pitchfork and or Lala.
All right. Whoa. Are we breaking news?
Nah.
It's 8:55 here on WLUW 87 FM, the Morning Rush on Weekend Gabe. Chris, man, thank you so much for spending an extended amount of time with us to learn more about you.
Cheer, man. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
No, appreciate it. All right, that's our time. Voices from the Circle is due up next. They're waiting on deck. So have a great Sunday. Def C is going to be joining us next Sunday to talk about his new EP. So stick around. More right here on WLUW 88.7 FM. Have a good Sunday.